Hey, you guys. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Done with Adulting podcast. If you like this podcast, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review, and follow us on Instagram at Done with Adulting Pod. Let's go. Okay.
I feel like it's been a minute.
I feel like it's been a minute because we didn't record last week because of the party.
The party.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Everybody, welcome back. We took a week off because we partied too hard last Friday.
It was Martin Luther King Day.
And it was, yes, we do need to recognize MLK.
So we don't want you guys listening to us when you should have been praising the God, aka MLK.
But no, welcome back to another episode, Done with Adulting. First of all, like that party on Friday though, how lit were we?
How lit were you?
I was too lit. I truly.
Are we going to disclose what happened towards the end of the night? You have to.
Mean when I vomited 3 times? Yeah, is that what you mean?
On the way out, I remember saying bye to you, and then I just see you at the top of the steps, and somebody just carrying you out. And
no, I was not being carried out.
Yes,
there.
you were.
I was on my own 2 feet.
I mean, you were on your 2 feet, but you were you had your weight on somebody else, and they were carrying your weight. It's okay. It happens to the best of us. I've been there before. Trust me.
I was just so hyped because like all of our friends came out. We had supporters out there. We had people that we met for the first time. Yeah. I mean, like, we cannot thank y'all enough for all the support. We had a great time. Thank you for coming to the party.
Yeah, we had people getting busy on the dance floor. That's what you're gonna call it.
We also had a lot of live, like a lot of people thought we were going to be doing a live podcast and then requested that at some point we do a live podcast. So you just let me know when you're ready for that.
Might take me some months, but eventually we can get that. We can make that happen.
I'm excited about it.
We can make that happen for the people.
We got to give the people what they want.
No, that place was dope.
Yes.
It was a good little venue. We had a good amount of people turn out, come out. We appreciate everybody who was there.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very much.
It was super dope. Y'all are the best. We appreciate it.
I did check my my bank today, and they did charge me $791. So
at the bar,
I have an issue with them that they need to resolve before I go back there and cause some issues.
Oh, I was like, did you buy 20 shots again, or was that
I didn't. I did buy some shots, but I spent $400. I didn't spend $800.
They've definitely charged you twice.
For sure. And I still got to go home and make sure I have the receipt still. I think I do, but even if I don't.
How did you discover that? Were you trying to charge something today?
No, I just went to my bank today.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, my credit card bill looked kind of high. I remember I just put a huge payment on there. So I'm like, wait, this number's kind of crazy. Then I'm going in there and I'm scrolling. Something catches my eye, keeps going. I said, what? It says $791. I'm like, what is going on? And then I see it says Silvertone, and I'm like, I spent $400 there. I was worried about the $400 I spent.
Yeah.
But I was like, F it. But then I saw that it said $791, and I'm like, oh no, these people are tripping. Yeah. And I've never made a complaint before, so that was a new experience for me.
You made a complaint to the bar?
No, on the app.
Oh, you were disputing the charge.
Yeah, I'm going straight through Bank of America. I'm not calling them people.
Yeah, Bank of America.
When I get home and check that receipt, then I'll give them a call.
Yeah.
And they might not make me show up there.
Maybe they'll give us a free party.
Yeah, like they were tripping.
Another party, anybody?
They were tripping. And I don't know how she charged. Like the girl behind the bar, she was super cool. We were talking the whole night. Was. At the end of the night, I already gave her a tip in my bill. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna round this up to $400. Give you an additional tip because you were good people.
Yeah.
You were running the bar by yourself, and we thought that you were gonna have 2 people because it was a good amount of people there.
Yeah.
And she was struggling at some points.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give you a tip. My total's $400. Then somebody else, like the manager of the bar, she asked me, I remember her, she's like, wait, can I see your receipt again? And she's like, okay, I just wanted to double check. So I'm like, what is she talking about? So I double check. I'm like, yeah, it says $400. Yeah, I'm tipping you twice.
Huh.
And then today I looked at my account and that joint says $791. And I'm a little bit upset about that.
Okay, so one small hiccup at the bar. However,
make sure you check yours.
Everybody check your receipts. I checked mine as soon as you texted me, and my charge was 100% correcto.
So. They said we killed the minimum. I mean, we better have killed the minimum, but didn't charge me $700.
They wouldn't. They would have charged me because my card was on the minimum thing.
Oh, true.
So they just tried to play you, but it's okay. It'll get figured out.
They were tripping.
Adulting. No, Sometimes you have to dispute credit card charges.
Yeah, but nah, the party was dope. Yes. It was a good time.
Thank you all for coming.
Next time we got to do it. Yeah, we got to make sure that everybody who buys a ticket actually shows up because there were some no-shows, but...
things happen.
All the tickets sold out.
Yeah.
They were
great.
But,
it was couldn't have gone better, honestly. It was
a good time.
It was a great time. So we're just going to transition right in because we have...
No time to waste.
No time to waste. We have a very exciting guest here, and
we have a great person right now.
A great person in the room. She's a great topic. She's just like lighting up the room as she sits here. But we got some feedback at the party and just previously about entrepreneurship. A lot of people, including Jared and I, we side hustle on the podcast. Other people that we know, y'all have side hustles. We shout them out all the time. Millennials making moves. So we wanted to bring on our guest, Pamela Barty, who
AKA Pammy B.
AKA Pammy B.
AKA DJ Pammy B.
Yes, we always say that. She's probably like, you guys.
She wears many hats.
Yeah, she wears a lot of hats. And so I'm just going to do her quick bio, and then I'm going to have her elaborate because I really don't think this encapsulates everything she does. But she is truly an entrepreneur. She owns the Mosh Group, which is comprised of real estate development, construction, and brokerage. She is also launching a line of blazers in 2021. We're very excited for that. She has worked for real estate in 7 years and is actually Massachusetts' youngest female general contractor. And in addition to all that and more, she volunteers at the YMCA. She loves talking about entrepreneurship. So we invited her here today so that she can help y'all with all your entrepreneurship endeavors. So with that said...
Hold on, don't you also have a gelato?
Yes.
Gelato shop?
I did, and I leased it.
Well, we'll let you get into that.
Yeah. So welcome. We're so glad you're here. Yes, can you please give us like a little more, like, I know I did not cover all the things. At one point you owned a gelato shop. Yep. Now you're mostly doing real estate, but I know you have some other things going on. So give us like your top 3 things you have going on.
Absolutely. And then I'm going to get into why it was, DJ PMB from.
Oh, yeah.
Because the listeners are going to be like, where's that from? So my name's Pamela Barty. I'm a serial entrepreneur. So I own the Moshe Group, which is basically like 3 companies in one. So it's the brokerage company, the construction company, and the development company.
I was saying it wrong.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's fine.
Sorry.
No, everybody says it now. It's all good.
Moshe.
Yeah. Well, that's,
like
we
that's
fancy.
what happens. This is what happens with bougie names. This is exactly what happens. So it's the Moshe Group. So I have 2 offices. One's in Seaport and one's on Newbury Street. So
wow.
I'm, mostly like real estate development is like my thing. Mm-hmm. And then I have sort of brokerage alongside of it, like commercial real estate, all that stuff. So, where do I even start? Like an entrepreneurial world. I was in business since I was like 10 years old.
Yeah. So can you give us a little bit of your backstory?
Yeah. So since I was 10 years old, I was working at my parents' restaurant in West Roxbury, which they still have. And basically.
Wait, do you want to plug the restaurant?
Yeah. What's it called?
Know?
Yeah, West Napoli Pizza in West Roxbury. So I've worked there since I was like 10 years old, and pretty much I was running it by the time I was like 18, and then back and forth like from dorm life to delivering pizzas on weekends, like when I was at Stonehill. And then like I would literally, so like my schedule would look like Saturday, get up, go drive to Boston, help out my parents today, come back, and then DJ on campus, and then like the next day pretend like I'm alive after the night after. So it's like everything I've ever known was like hustle and like entrepreneurship. Like that was it. Like that's dope. Like at Stonehill, I remember being like, because this is where the DJ PMB part actually comes in. Like I remember being a freshman and like going to these parties as a freshman and just being like, this is trash. Like this music is trash. I'm tired of it. Like I would be in my dorm, and I was like, one night I was in my quad because we were so cool in Villa, and a shout out to Stonehill. I'm sitting in my dorm, and I'm like, I just started like vibing in my room, and like everyone just started like coming in like dancing. They're like, where is this from? I'm like, my computer. Like it's just right here. And then someone was like, why don't you just start DJing? I was like, this is true. I can make a business
And
out
you
of this.
just started DJing.
And I just like out of nowhere, and everyone's like, "Do you even know like how to mix and like do anything?" I was like, "Let me tell you, I have one qualification." And that qualification is I used to burn CDs and write DJ Pammy be on it for my dad so he can blast it. So that was my qualification for being a DJ. I remember just like, and it was like that weekend. I just
Wait, you got paid for that?
I used to get paid for that stuff. Yes. That's so it and also depends on your definition of paid. There's different people have different ways of paying you.
Yeah.
One was cash money and the other was liquor. So
yeah.
You know,
it
was still money in your pocket.
it was like one of the two, you know. It was like, and people would pay me like a decent amount to do it. They're just like, Pam, like we just want you to DJ. And like Owens, I used to make money too.
Yes, we used to be like,
oh yeah, you did used to do your.
Yo, we really used to be like, oh, party at this place. I would be like, well, who's a DJ? Is it DJ Pammy or is it somebody else? I don't even remember another DJ's. Like, who else DJ'd there if it wasn't DJ Pammy?
Nobody.
No, when we first got there, it was Vinci.
Yeah.
But then after Vinci was a senior, I think when we were freshmen or something.
If
so
like DJ Pammy wasn't there, it was like somebody's iPhone.
Oh
yeah!
Shout out to Bigness.
Big B.
Shout out.
Brandon, man.
He's great.
He was so good.
I wonder if he listens. I follow him on Instagram. I'm gonna tag him in this.
Your name was brought up in this episode.
Yes.
Oh my God, I forgot. Okay, now we're reminiscing. So you were hustling at Stonehill, then post Stonehill, like that's when you started.
Kind. So like what happened was, and like the funny thing is, like I went to Stonehill for like entrepreneurship and communications, but like I didn't think I'd own my own business until like I was like 40. Like it was like way out.
Yeah.
And like what happened was I had this internship at this place that will not be named. But basically I remember I got a B- for an internship. Like first of all, who gets a B- for
I didn't know they gave grades.
Tell me about it. So I'm walking into this office and I'm just mad, you know, because I'm like, first off, I've been here every day and I've been a nerd at this stupid cubicle. And then like she tells me, she's like, nah, well, you know, and then like I'm literally asking her. So I'm like, so why did I get a B-? Like just why?
Yeah.
I was like so angry. I was like, I needed some closure. And she literally was like, she's like, well, you know, like you would finish tasks and then you'd ask me for more things. And like, you were just too ambitious.
What? No, she did not say that to you.
That sounds kind of backwards.
This was my junior year. And like, I had sworn this was the place that I was going to work at when I graduated college.
That just turned you off
completely. So like everything that like, I remember leaving that day and I like called my mom and I was like, Mom, just letting you know right now, like I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just straight up telling you I'm not working for anybody when I graduate. Like I'm just gonna do my own thing, whatever that is. And like my parents like had a heart attack. Like they were like,
what?
They were like, excuse me, did you not just do, you know, you're gonna do like 4 years at school and like, you know, you were gonna get corporate experience and then, you know, like do your thing after. I was like, yeah, this is not gonna happen. It's just not. So I don't know like what I'm gonna do.
Don't know what the plan is, but it ain't this.
I was
it won't be for slaving for the man.
I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna do it. I know I'm starting my own business. And then like that summer is when I started, you know, working on the ice cream store. And then after that is like, you know, another opportunity came up for a restaurant on the Esplanade where they do July 4th, like at the Hat Show. So I had 2 restaurants basically by the time I graduated college. And then like one of them pretty much split off. Like my business partner took over that one. And then I got into real estate like 6 months after I opened my store.
So this is an interesting question because, I mean, this is an interesting thing because you grew up in the restaurant business. So that was familiar to you. That was something that if you were going to start a business, like you knew it, you felt more confident in it, you had the tools maybe or knew where to get the tools. Then when you changed direction and pivoted to real estate, like maybe you can give us some background about how it took you from just like being a commercial real estate agent into like owning your own business, or if it just like you went straight to that. And also like was that something you were familiar with? Was it something that was completely new to you at the time? Like, how did that come up?
Yeah. So, I mean, it was an interesting, like, pivot because it's like the restaurant industry was all I ever knew.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like stepping, you know, all I knew to myself was like, you know, I had the store started up and everything was ready and my employees were ready to go. And I remember going to my parents again and being like, okay, so now that this is up and running, like, I need to diversify my portfolio and like I need to create different streams of revenue. I'm not just going to depend on the store. My parents are like, here we go again, you know, and I'm like, no, I want to get into like flipping houses. Like that was my thing. That's what I wanted to do because I watched my uncle and my dad do it like in 2008, 2009. And like my dad would literally just like invest in it. And then like my uncle would be the general contractor and he would do it all. And then like my dad would just show up to closing. So like I'd watch my dad put in money here and then get this money out of like doing nothing. I'm like, dude, that's like the best.
Yeah, it's easy.
What? Why would I was like, that's a great business for me to do like on the side and, you know, and start to build that up. So I literally, I remember I was like, all right, I was just going to start flipping houses. And my mom was like, and as a kid, like
she'd never sit down.
So did you have a business partner with that too, or you just started that by yourself?
So I had like a mentor that, and then like my uncle was sort of helping me navigate through that world. But it's still like no matter what anyone can train you, when you're in the shoes as the owner and like the person doing it, it's not the same. You learn so much more. Like it's totally different. So like, you know, I started getting into that, and like I remember I'd be on site every single day. Like I'd be there in the mornings and then I'd rush to my store to make sure all my employees were good and then like rush right back and then like go on site and like it was like nonstop because I didn't know construction. So like I was like learning as I was going, which is pretty terrifying, you know. I was like,
sure.
I'm just trying to balance it. Exactly. And it was like, and this was like, it wasn't like a light renovation. This was like, let's destroy everything, turn the pantry into like a bathroom. Like it was all out, and it was in Stoughton actually. And then like, I was just like, oh my God. And then after, I was like, I need to get my real estate license because like I need to know my numbers, like, and to also sell the properties when they're done. You know, I'm like, I need my license.
Another agent.
Yeah. So basically, I got my real estate license, and then from there, the brokerage grew completely on its own, like literally completely on its own. Like I remember getting that, and then somebody called me and recruited me for a commercial real estate firm, and I was like, oh, listen, like I'm a developer, like I flip, like. And then eventually getting into new construction now, but like I'm not in commercial real estate. Like I don't know what that you know, I don't really know what that is, you know. And then so they were like, you know, we'll train you to learn. I mean, you're an entrepreneur and you know a lot of entrepreneurs, so therefore like the commercial world could be awesome for you. And I was like, okay. So because I didn't have my broker's license at the time, I had to affiliate underneath another broker for like 3-4 years. So I decided to hang my hat with them because then it provided me the opportunity to learn commercial real estate and then also the residential, which I already had. And they gave me a good deal for like splits and stuff. So I was like, and then pretty much just went from there. Like that was the whole thing. I like learned all about like, you know, like developing sites and like all these different things in tandem to my own development company. So my development company came first. So it's like I started flipping, like that was the base of everything. And then it really grew on its own, like to the point like now I just closed the biggest commercial deal of my career, which was $37.5 million, which is wild. So it was like,
congratulations,
you know, thank you. So it was like, you know, and everyone was like, how did you do it? I was like, honestly, it was relationship and like referral. I mean, that's like how I've grown my entire business. I've legit never advertised like anything on the brokerage side of things
like that.
That's it. Yeah. And they're just like, oh, Pam can help you, you know, like let Pam. And then so like I've just been so busy like connecting with people and like adding value through real estate, whether it's residential or commercial, either way. And it just blew up to be its own like thing. That's why, you know, like now that I have my broker's license, I have everything under one hat. So like my development company got rebranded into the Moshe Group. So and then the construction company basically works strictly for my development company. So I have a construction arm too, and then so that's like the trifecta.
Yeah, that's a big thing, is like networking and making sure you're connecting and meeting the right people. Yeah. There's some people who are like scared to go out there and put themselves out there to meet people and talk with people and get in front of the right people, and I think that just holds certain individuals.
Yeah, and that was what I was thinking. Like, my question for you is, I feel like a lot of people, or I should just like speak for myself, like when thinking about like starting a business or starting something new, and it's like, well, I didn't go to school for business. Like I went to school for communication, or like I don't have a business master's, or like I feel like that's a common thought that a lot of people have. Like you have to have this certain education, or these takes money to make money, like all these certain things. And so I was hoping you could give us like a little bit of insight into like yes, having a little bit of money starting out helps, but like you don't necessarily have to have an MBA. Like what do you think besides like, I know you mentioned like having relationships and networking as something that's important, but like what else do you think like was really helpful for you when you were first starting your businesses, and like even if it's like non-monetary things like skills?
Like, what would you need?
Yeah, like what do I need
to keep rolling?
Like, okay,
especially money wise. Like,
so me and Jared have this idea, but we're not going to say it on the podcast because we don't want someone to steal the idea. But like, let's say we wanted to start this business idea that we have, and we talk about it all the time, and we have great ideas, and like we write them down. And I mean, we think we need a business plan. Like that might be a good place to start. But like, what do we really need?
Besides money, that's
besides money. And like, how much money do we need? Like, how much do I need to invest in my startup business? I have a million questions, so let me just let you answer those ones, because I have about 10 more.
I mean, so like what in terms of like what you need, honestly, what you need is hustle and self-confidence. Those are the two things that you need. I mean, those are certain things like you can't learn in school, you know what I mean? Like most people are like, Pam, did you go to school for architecture? Did you go to school for construction? Did you do? And I'm like, no. I just learned it. Like, there's certain things that, like, you cannot learn from books. Like, entrepreneurship is one of those things. Like, it's not theoretical. It's not a theoretical thing. It's like hands-on. Like, you just learn and you just do. Like, that's it. Like, when you get pushed off the cliff, like, you have no choice but to jump. Like, that's what I tell people all the time.
Jump off the cliff. Getting pushed in the pool. You just gotta learn how to swim.
That's it. And you just gotta, like, figure it out. Like that was the whole thing. I mean, and I've pivoted so many times. Like I was mentioning earlier, Jared, when you were mentioning like the ice cream shop, like that was one decision I had to make. Like now being in real estate and real estate development, and like all the companies, and like opening up a blazer company down the line, and I'm starting a TV show too, Underdog. So that's like a whole nother thing. So like what I had to make the executive decision was, what do I want to focus on, and what doesn't serve me correctly, and where is my passion no longer there.
You put all your focus in one? Or,
yeah. So it was like, okay, real estate's like my career, and then I have all these other like little branches, like the Blazers, and then like the TV show and things like this. But like for me, it was like I didn't see any further growth in the restaurant business, and I didn't have like the passion anymore. Like it was just like I knew it was time to pass the torch. But at one point in time, that was like my everything. That was the base of everything that like I started, and everything else really just like took off in its own direction. So it's like the best way to really start is just to do. Like you got to just start doing, because it takes years to perfect your craft. Like in real estate and real estate development, like for me, it took like 3 to 5 years for me to like not look at my bank account and wonder if I overdrafted like several times, because everything I was doing was like investing in my businesses, like I was secondary. Like I maxed out credit cards. Like
this is what I need to hear. This is what I need to hear.
No, like you had to hear
the negative parts.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing, and that's the whole reason why I'm starting my TV shows. I'm gonna be interviewing people from all walks of life, and we're gonna talk about the real, like the stuff that nobody talks about, like, and like that's what it's all about. But like for me, it's like there is no easy route here. It's like you give it all, you put everything on the line, and that's it. Like that's what it was for me. It was like I didn't even think twice. Like I just did. I was like, I gotta do it.
So like, if you don't mind sharing more specifically, because I think the financial piece is like a huge part for people who are like planning a wedding or buying a house, or like doing whatever you're doing in your personal life, or trying to reach your personal goals, whatever those might be. What is like to you as an entrepreneur, is it like there's no, like I will invest what I have to invest, any amount to make this work? Like were there times where you really were like out in these streets, like just trying to like struggle until you made the profit that you were able to make to be successful? Like what did that really look like in the midst of it?
Right. So I mean, in the midst of it, it's like I was so caught up in it that I didn't really like have a chance to think about it. I just had to figure out how I was going to push through. Like that was my biggest thing, is like I need to make sure I'm paying my employees, and like I need to make sure I have enough, to invest into my next project to finish it and then flip it and then make more profit and like keep going. Like that's
Stay
all
afloat.
it was like do or die type like mentality, in which, you know, I put everything on the line, but I'm also a major risk taker. So anyone who's like risk averse, like you can't fear risk in this part. And it's like, but you can figure out ways how to mitigate it and not be like, you know,
that's easier said than done though.
Right? Yeah.
Way
Absolutely.
easier said than
you know,
done.
like the thing is like in terms of like risk mitigation, it's like, all right, so I know I have this, like try to forecast as much as you possibly can and figure out what the investment is from day one. The way that I always tell people is like, when you know when it's time to take your side hustle full time is when it's starting to, and you see the potential of the income basically replacing what you have now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For like that's like the big thing. But like,
so if this podcast takes off and it's making us crazy money more than what we make at work, that's when you cut the ties and you put yourself.
I can't wait for that day.
Yes, basically that's.
I've heard other podcasters say that, things like that, and then other entrepreneurs, things like that.
Yeah,
because once it's growing, you want to put all your focus into that specific situation. So
yeah, and Jared and I have talked about that. We're like, well, when the podcast gets to where it's supposed to be, like, then we'll do this next thing which we want to do. But like then sometimes we're like, what if someone thinks about the next thing before us, but they won't? It's okay. Let's just like,
somebody thought about it already.
It's hard to like not get ahead of yourself, and it's like exactly what you said. Like when you get into it and you decide that you're going to start your own business, like you can't be like 75% sure or like 80% sure. You have to be like, at least I feel like you have to be like, this is what I'm doing, and there's no like next week like, oh, like I don't want to, like I made a wrong decision, like, which I think can happen, but I don't know, I feel like the risk is too big. Like if you're gonna do it, you just have to do it, but it's so much easier said than done, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, you know what like really motivates me when I like think about these things, and like when I want to start something new, it's like I have this idea and this passion that pops up in my mind, and it's like I always have this one quote, and it's like, regret is worse than fear. Oh, like I can never like for me, it's like, okay, so if I don't start this right now, right?
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to feel down the line?
You're going to be thinking about it nonstop.
I'm going to be regretting it, and it's going to, like, it's just going to drive me wild. And then I say, okay, what are the could-be's? So it's like, if you think about that, like, you know, am I going to regret, like, not doing this? And if you feel like you are, you definitely should start. Because the thing is, like, it's fear that's really holding all of us back. That's the number one thing that stops it. And like the thing is, a great entrepreneur versus just like a regular dreamer, the difference is execution. Business is all about logistics and execution. That's it. If you can figure out how a business can basically logistically be run, that's the formula. That's it. And then you just basically work on perfecting that formula for long periods of time. That's why people invest in like franchises, because those are proven systems. Oh yeah, proven formulas. Yeah. And that's the reason why they're so valuable, because you don't have to wait to figure it out. Somebody already did it for you.
It's
you
a
know?
blueprint, and you just follow
that. A formula.
So in regards to the fear, do you think that so like entrepreneurs who have, I guess if they have family or help behind them, do you think that they feel a little bit more secure? And maybe you could speak on that in regards to you.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, in terms of entrepreneurs, the number one way of how anything's really ever funded is bootstrapping. So it's like, which means that you get money from friends and family to start up the businesses. But, like, the beautiful thing is these days, we live in, like, the most, like, entrepreneur-friendly era ever, which is amazing. Like, you know, you have, like, crowdfunding. You have, like, all these different resources that you can raise money.
And it's easier because everything's online.
Easier. Yeah. Exactly. And that's the thing is, like, it's the most beautiful time to be an entrepreneur right now, because technology allows you to do it. And also, there's so many different ways that you can raise money and capital for your business. So it's like, I tell everyone, I'm like, if you got an idea, like, do it now, and you just start it on the side and let it like build up, you know, little by little, because it's gonna need to do that anyway. Because like, some people tell me, they're like, Pam, I want to start a business and like just quit their job and that's it. And I'm like, don't do that yet. Like, keep it, you know, like when you see that it's starting to generate income and you see that like it's producing that for you, and you see the potential, like, okay, well, if I invest more time in this, like, I know I'm gonna triple that, I'm gonna quadruple that. So you just like know, you know, and you just do. Like, that's it, you know, and I know it's easier said than done, but like at the end of the day, it's like you want that regret fear and you know what I mean, regret thing at the end of the day, because then it's like, what if it really does blow up?
Yeah. or you see someone else do it and it blows up.
Exactly.
So when you first started out, did you have that security of like, say if you did fail, you would have something to fall back on?
No.
Or at least family to fall back on?
No, like at the time I was living at home, so that was pretty much my only fallback. I'm like, well, I guess I could be like super broke and just stay at home until I like get myself together. But in my mind, it was like, you know, I started working on all these.
You don't allow that to be.
Yeah. It's a mental game, you know, because it's like, it's all about your mental game in entrepreneurship. Like, you know, once I started really like putting these manifestations and like affirmations in my head, I'm like, no, like this is gonna work. I'm gonna find a way. This is gonna get done. Like, I know it's hard right now, but like everybody's gone through this, you know, through the stage where it's difficult, but you know, you just keep grinding. Like, it's like that hustle is constant. And like as you build your business, then you start to figure out, you know, like ways of outsourcing and perfecting your craft. But those 3 to 5 years are like sacrifice time. But it's the sacrifice time that like if you do it right, after those 5 years, like
it'll be fine.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I like. You can ask Jared, like when we started the podcast, I was like, we are just like trying to have a creative outlet, like no real monetary goal. Like we don't make money off the podcast. If we made money off the podcast someday, that would be ideal. But like we knew that wasn't a realistic thought. We just like wanted to get our message out to the world. And
just thought it would be fun to do.
Yes. And even doing that, like, and I love the podcast. Like we are both very passionate about it. Like, it's clear, and there are days and I'm texting Jared and I'm like, this is a lot. Like today is not the day. Like I really just don't know if I can, because you start to think about the long term. Like you start thinking like, okay, we've been doing this for 4 months. Like zing, I probably got to do this for like 2.5 more years or something before we like, you know, like
burn out,
get picked up or like have like make money off ads or like whatever it is. Like you think about that long term journey in your head. It's like such a mental game. And I'm texting Jared like, yo, we should just really, and he's like, no man, like, and that's why I feel like my point is like it's good to have like relationships, partnership. You mentioned having a mentor at one point, so I was gonna ask you like how helpful was that for you, like to have a mentor in the field, and like would you recommend that to somebody else?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Especially when you're in a wide open industry that you've never been in before. It was like terrifying for me. So I'm like, who do I like talk to?
Ask,
like, who do you even, you know, like my uncle had like the construction experience and things like that, but like I was like, I don't even know. So I paid a mentor to like teach me what to do, you know, in like the first 3 months of development. Yeah. So, and then after that, I really like took over and did my own thing from there. But it was like, you need to invest in those people in the industry who know what they're doing.
Because you got to get pointed in some right direction.
Exactly.
Especially if you're just walking in there blindly, not knowing exactly what the industry is.
Exactly. And something like real estate development where like at that point, you know, I had like family money that I needed to make sure I didn't screw up, you know, and I was like, so it was like extra cautious on like everything I was doing. It was like, okay,
trying to make the right decisions.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and it saves you money in the long run, but like it's like one of the, you know, it's one of those thoughts that it's like you invest in yourself and your education, but like, and back to your point earlier, you don't need a degree to do anything out there. Really.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I'm sorry to all the colleges and universities
you
listening,
gotta apologize
and
to them.
all these, but like it's really
a scam.
Like
it's a scam.
If you have hustle and if you have self-confidence and you have vision, like there is nobody on earth who's gonna stop you, period. Like that's it.
Big facts.
There
You're
is
preaching.
I'm telling you.
Ooh, like, I feel motivated already.
Yeah, it's like that is it. All you need is that hustle. Like if you have that passion for it, like that's gonna keep you going. Because there are like every entrepreneur will say this. Like there's days where you're like up against the wall. You're just like, why? You know? But then you remember, it's like, why do I do this? Okay, all right, I love it. I have a passion for it. Okay, and then you think about long term and like all these things, and it's like, all right, you know. But like everybody has this. We're human, so it's like,
for sure,
it's inevitable that we have those thoughts, you know, and in all areas of our lives, but like especially in entrepreneurship, where like there's no turn off button for you. Like your businesses are like always on, you know, and it's like it gets hard sometimes. You're just like, you know.
Yeah, speaking of like the hard times and the times like you're just thinking about like the why, like what are some of like the main roadblocks you think entrepreneurs face, and maybe some that you faced in your journey?
Definitely. Oh man, the hardships. It's just so many. It's like
it's like a ton, right?
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's like I guess because when you start out, you're not experienced and you just don't know, and you make a lot of mistakes that hurt you financially, and sometimes you can't like recoup from them. So it's like keeping going, even though like you screwed up, and like you got to keep going. And it's like, and I think another hard part about like business and being an entrepreneur too is like everyone, like you are the face of it all, so like you can't break down. So it's like you always got to have like your mental game like constantly going, like, and
even
like
if times are going rough and it's terrible. Yeah.
Or if someone else messed up, like it's still coming back to you.
Yeah, exactly. Or like if an employee screws up on something, or like whatever, like all these different things, like they always fall back on you as the entrepreneur, So like you just always got to train your mind for different hardships, like all the time. Like I remember for me, like that was tough, but like I'm a naturally positive person, so for me it was like easier to adapt and like bounce back. But it's like, for example, like walking into entrepreneurship, I will explain it just like this is exactly what it is. It's chaos every single day. Just
you don't know
straight
you don't know
what's about to go down. It could be positive, it could be negative, but like no matter what, you have to learn to adapt. And I think that that's where the successful entrepreneurs come in. Like it's like they just know it's chaos, and then you just figure out a way. You just improv and you just make it happen. Like you just keep going. It's like it's all about the mindset, because it's like if I let something tear me down for the day, the whole entire rest of the day is completely like screwed up.
That happens to me every day.
And then if people see you like that, especially like your own employees, that like just going to carry down to them as well.
Exactly. Like that's the whole thing. So it's like one big like mental game of like, all right, stay positive, let's adapt, let's do this, and this didn't work, let's try this. Like, and it's a constant sort of thing.
I was gonna ask you, I know there's people who listen that like probably have already started their side hustle or are planning to, and this is more like of a tactical question, but I feel like there's so many I hear a lot of ads these days on like just like tools for entrepreneurs, like calendars and project management tools and like all these different whatever that's out there, apps, stuff like that.
And I didn't help you out.
Yeah, I just didn't know if there were like any things that you like to use like specifically to help you run your businesses, whether it's like a specific type of thing that keeps you organized, or like maybe at this point you have an assistant, I don't know, but like how you kind of like even when you were starting out, like how you kept yourself organized and on track, if there were any tools that someone else could like also use.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, like my iPhone's my entire
life
existence. It's basically like the emails, phone, text, because that's primarily what my business is. It also depends on the type of business that you're working on. But like Podio, for example, it's like an awesome like software platform. It's a CRM system, customer relationship management, but like there's all kinds of things. It can be used for project management, like it can be used in many different facets. So like there is like where I record leads and like that sort of thing for the real estate side.
Is that an app on your phone too?
Yep.
Nice.
Podio, and you could craft it to pretty much your business however you want, exactly, which is awesome. And then like believe it or not, like I still write things down, which is like
I told myself I was gonna write more things down because I write them in my phone, in my notes.
Yep.
But it's not the same.
No.
Yeah, because you're always typing.
I can't figure out why I can't remember anything.
Yeah, because that blends in with everything else you're typing.
Yes, it's
you
just
barely
like,
write anything. So,
I need to actually take a pen. I don't even own a pen. I used to have a pen in my bag all the time, and I don't think I have one right now.
I got one in my book bag.
Oh my God.
I can give you.
That's a good reminder though. Like write things
and you
down.
Visualize it as you're writing. You visualize it, so
yeah. It like I don't know why it makes it more real. Like it's like I like write it down and I'm like, I'm gonna get it done. Like it's like I don't know what it is, because I can put it in my phone all day long and I'm just looking at it like
So there's like this thing that's like it's like popping off now. Like everybody's having the vision board parties.
Yeah.
Or the vision parties. Is that something like you've ever done, or do you see yourself ever doing that in the future?
Yeah. So vision boards are definitely a huge thing for me.
You do them all the time?
Yeah. So like but I don't like cut things out. I really just like write stuff down. Yeah. That's like my biggest thing. It's like I like write $1 million checks to myself and like things like that. That's like what I do. And I did that last year and that happened this year. So like it's crazy. Like when you really like physically write it down, I don't know, it does something mentally to you that it almost makes you more accountable. Like I don't know, it's just some sort of magic to it. I really think so. So it's like I don't go all out and do like the full board, but like I'll do a Pinterest board to myself.
Yeah.
That kind of half counts. And then I'll write it down, and then I'll write it down and I'll try to progress it. And I heard actually a really good tip this year that another entrepreneur gave me, and she's like, Pam, if you have a sales goal for like this year, for example, like just like break it down. Like what do you need to make week by week to like get there? And it makes it that much more like easier to attain.
Tangible.
I'm like, I never like that's so simple.
Yeah, like this is what you want to make this year.
Yeah.
Even if you have like a 9 to 5 and a side hustle. Yeah. Like this is what I make in my 9 to 5 per year, but like by the end of the year with both my revenue, I want this much. Like how much do I need to like?
Yeah, and it's like, and then it translates into, okay, well, I need like 5 more clients to get to this goal, and it's like, it breaks it down to like really be a lot more tangible, especially when you have like bigger goals, because you're like, dang, that's like huge. It's like, how am I even gonna get there?
You're grinding into that number, and then when you hit that number, you finally feel relieved, but you still got to keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
It never stops. That number,
The hustle never stops.
That is so funny. Okay, so I have like one final question, and then I want you to tell us more about Underdog, because you mentioned it, but I haven't talked to you about it yet, and I'm excited about it.
I actually want to hear more about the Blazers too.
Yeah.
But my last like question for the people is like, if there were like top three things that pieces of advice that you would give to someone who's like maintaining their side hustle, thinking about transitioning full time to their side hustle, just had an idea today and wants to start a business tomorrow, like what would be your top 3 pieces of advice, or like top 3 first steps, like first 3 steps, whatever you think?
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, I think it starts with self-confidence, right? So if you're not confident in your business or like who you are, or like any value that you bring, it's like, who is gonna work with you? Like who's gonna, you know what I mean? Like people used to tell me, even like when I was in the restaurant business, they're like, yo, Pam can literally sell my shoes like right off my feet, like she's that confident that like the shoe she's talking about is like the one, like it's like, but like your self-confidence translates into your business, so like you gotta be, and like it also helps you through those times, like I was saying, like the hardships and everything. It's like it keeps your mental game sort of up. And then number 2 is of course hustle. I mean, you gotta hustle, and it takes time to learn that formula from the beginning. Like that's the hard part, is like, because like people will start a business or think about starting it, and then like they feel like they're failing like halfway in, but it's like that's when it gets good. That's when like your like gears are turning, like, and you gotta keep like, and I don't even call them failures. They're just lessons. Like it's just pivots. Like you're just pivoting. Like you're just because one thing didn't go right means there's another way to do it. So it's like just to staying positive on that front, like, and just keep hustling. Like there is no right or wrong in this.
The work ethic has to be strong.
Yeah, absolutely. So first is the self-confidence. Second is the hustle. And I mean, third, oh man, I would say the passion and the vision, because you know, those days that get real tough, you're like, why again, and it's like, and then like for me, what I think about is like, all right, Pam, like you want to be one of the greatest real estate developers, like period, and like you want to empower people. So it's like, you're having a bad day, get over it, let's go. Like you got a bigger vision to step up to. So it's like that's like the mental game that like I play with myself when I have those days, because like in real estate it's just like it's like the restaurant industry. It's like chaos on a daily basis, but it's like just learning to adapt, like I have like a formula actually. It's called FACTS. It's like fearlessness, adaptability, compassion, trust yourself, so self-confidence, and like trust your gut too. Like it's like a whole success formula that I have, and it's like none of it has to do with school. None of it has to do with how well you can write an essay. None of that. I still see my math teacher like from high school, and I like literally tell her, and I proudly actually make the statement that I have never used algebra. Like, it's like school is one thing. It's like entrepreneurship is really like it's a hustle game. So, I mean, it's like anyone who wants to start anything, it's like you got a purpose in this life, right? And it's like the second that you want to start a business, it's like that business is the extension of yourself. And it's like, if that fulfills your purpose, you should absolutely go for it, because nothing will fulfill you more than to get that to basically find that purpose and know. Like for me, it was, all right, like I had like a big self-reflection moment. It was like a year and a half ago, and I'm like, all right, this is great, like real estate development, woo, like success, like all these things. But it's like, what's really my point here? Like what really is it? And it was, I figured it out. It was like, you're in these spots to empower people.
Yeah.
Period. Like, that is what you're meant to do. Like, yes, real estate's your base and your background, like, but like, this is what you're meant to do. And that's when the whole Blazers thing came up. It was like, all right. And everyone's like, why are you stepping into the fashion industry? Like, you don't know, like, how to sew, like, anything. You don't know, like, nothing. And I was like, no, I'm sure I could find a designer, could find a factory. And, like, basically what I wanted to create was, like, a product that was, like, an extension of myself physically that, like, somebody could put on and it feels like their armor, right? Like, because, like, for me, I tried to remember what are the things that, like, got me through as an entrepreneur. It's like, well, you know, I could wear this really badass blazer and like I would kill it through certain meetings, and like those are the meetings that like help build my career because it taps into your self-confidence. You feel good. Exactly. And that was my whole thing. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I'm like, what better way to empower people than to give them like an amazing blazer to rock? And I'm like, this is perfect because this is like an extension of myself. I'm like, being in the restaurant industry, you're used to like expiration dates and stuff. I'm like, yes, I could ship this all the way like across the world and it will survive, you know, like forever. So it was like, you know, so it was like the extension of myself. And like for me, what I view the Blazers, they're called B.
Yeah, that's the name of the line.
Yeah, it's gonna be called B.
So I think I saw you post something before about, is it only women's or is it?
Women's for now until I can like perfect that then get into, you know, because I was going to start with only like a couple to start and then just do a bunch of different patterns that you can do. Yeah. And then sort of like grow it from there. But that was my whole point, was like all about empowerment. And then like deeper into that, like getting into the TV show Underdog, I was like, because I get asked about entrepreneurship stuff all the time, and I'm like, everybody's like glamorizes this, like that it's like this amazing thing. And entrepreneurship is, but it's like nobody talks about the struggles.
It's like
the
those
real
Instagram memes where it's like the iceberg. Yeah, those things on Instagram, and it's like the tip of the iceberg is the success, and then everything underneath is like all the stuff you don't see. And I feel like that's why people like get into the thought of like they want to start a business. It like doesn't look that hard. Oh, she did it. Oh, Pammy did it. Like I can do it. And then you get into the weeds and you're like, oh shit, like this is real.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing. And it's like, you know, I was like in my mind, I'm like, you know, how did I get through entrepreneurship? Like, especially in the beginning phases,
right?
Like the part where it's like, that's the part, those 3 to 5 years where most people tend to give up. How do I help people get through that specific part of the process? Because after like you're making money and you're successful, like obviously like life's dandy, but you know, before that, getting there, it's like, how do you?
They say most businesses don't last past 3 years, so
exactly. So I was like, how do I help navigate? And then like I remember what one of my things and like what I used to do, and this is actually another tip for individuals who are looking to do their side hustle or grow their side hustle. Talk to somebody in the industry.
Yeah,
and like ask them like, what did you go through? Like, what were some things that like you could have done differently, or what did you do that was successful, or what are your recommendations? You know, being in this industry now, like that is invaluable advice. That means you're gonna get advice so that you don't make those mistakes, which is invaluable. So like that would be my best thing. Like anybody who's thinking about anything, look at somebody who's in the industry and is successful, and they will be more than happy to have a cup of coffee with you or something and like explain to you what the deal was, because that's what it was for me. Like it's like
you learn from their previous mistakes, things like that.
It's like what better thing to do than to learn from somebody else's mistakes? Like, hello, this is like free trial.
That's
you
what
know,
the smart individuals usually do.
Exactly. So it was like for me, I remember like talking to people. I'm like, how did you get through this? Like, what was your experience like in the beginning? And like they would tell me the struggles and the hardships and everything, and like what they would do differently if they could, and that to me, like it was all storytelling.
Yeah.
And that helped me get through, because I was like, okay, well, if they made it through this, then that means I can make it through this. And like,
this is how you got to Underdog.
This was my like, I had like a whole like therapy process in my head, and I didn't even realize that it was like my own personal therapy of like being an entrepreneur, you know, like until like after. And I'm like, well, like I made it here because of storytelling and like, you know, perfecting the mental game and all this stuff. And it's like, this is what people need to hear now.
Yeah.
They need to hear other individuals from all walks of life who have been like, up against all odds, and like how'd they make it in those moments, you know. And it's like providing that platform of like people really talking about the struggle and like really focusing on that. And then of course they can talk about where they are now, but it's going to be a whole platform of storytelling, and that's the whole thing.
That's very exciting. When can we get when are we going to see B Blazers? When are we going to see Underdog? Where are we going to see them, if you know and can tell us? Like, how can we get the inside scoop?
Yeah. So for the Blazers of 2021, right now I have the actual physical Blazers with me, but now we're like perfecting production. Like the stupid things that like nobody thinks about. That I was like, why do quality, I'm like, why is the size 2 not the same as the size 6, and like so on and so forth. Like your arms have to be bigger. Anyway, there's like all these like little things, production things, and so that will be available online, and then I'll probably have like pop-ups like throughout Boston to start. To start, and then for the show, the show will be launched bi-weekly, and it'll be via YouTube and different channels to start. Our TV studio is going to be in Framingham, so we'll be like filming live, and it'll launch like every 2 weeks, and it'll be special guests every time. Yeah, but we also have the capability of going like on site too. To different locations, so we'll see. It'll probably be a mix of like TV studio and then like going and
That's dope.
Yeah,
that's so exciting. I can't wait.
A lot to look forward to.
I know.
2020, 2021.
I thought like you could that's so funny. I'm like, wow, Pammy's really out here. Like I see her on Instagram. I'm like, she's really out here doing her thing. Like she closed that deal. Like she's got her group. And then you're like on to the next thing. I'm like, she just can never.
You gotta stay hungry.
Never settle. That's why you're such a good entrepreneur. I feel like because it just never stops. But we are getting close to running out of time. Do you have anything else for Pammy? I feel motivated.
I appreciate you. Yeah, this is very empowering. Hopefully the listeners caught some good gems, and if they're looking to start their own thing or be an entrepreneur, you definitely gave some good advice. So
let us know let them know how they can follow your journey. What's the best way to see what you're up to, stuff like that.
For sure, yeah.
Plug it.
Even I would say, so my website's www.pamelabardi.com, but to connect with me better, and actually engage with me on Instagram is fine. It's Pamela PAMELA _ Bardi BARDHI. So that's my Instagram handle. I try to post and update everyone about my life on that platform. And then LinkedIn is cool too, Pamela Bardi. So connect with me wherever you see fit. I'm always happy to connect with anyone, and
I need to do better on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is such a good tool.
It's incredible.
And LinkedIn I need to really grow my presence on that app. I need to get off this Instagram and get on this LinkedIn and find some mentors.
No, LinkedIn isn't. I thought about deleting it. I was like,
no, it's so good. You just have to know how to use it, I've heard.
People know how to use it. It's just it's
good.
Turning into something that it shouldn't be. If that makes sense.
Slightly, yes.
Yeah. How? Please.
It's turning into Facebook.
Yeah.
And some people you follow, they post.
Everything.
Just post some things that they shouldn't be posting in regards to.
I agree with that.
It's a work thing.
Yeah,
it's starting to turn to Facebook a little bit.
Okay. It is. There's this one guy who always comments on comments, and all he writes is I love your shoes, and I'm just like, I am deleting this weirdo. This is LinkedIn. This is supposed to be professional. So I feel you, Jared. It's one of those things. You're just like, this is not Facebook, man.
Oh my God. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Seriously, this has been so insightful. I feel like hopefully somebody who's listening got some great advice from you. You were dropping gems today. We will obviously be keeping up with all your endeavors, and I can't wait for the Blazers to come out. I know you were probably wearing one of the Blazers in that Stonehill interview.
Yes.
I knew it. I was like, this is it. This is the place.
Yes.
Just so good. So thank you so much again for coming, and hopefully we'll get to have you back.
Yeah.
Have you back in 2021 after the Underdog and the Blazers, and you'll be even more famous. I'll have to book you through an assistant or something. Yeah, they'll be like, what is your name again?
Bigger things.
Oh yeah, Asian Jared. That'll be us.
I remember you.
We'll just be on the pod still. Same place, same time. But dope. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you so much.